So it is indeed Monday again. Obviously, last week we finished with the cast. So today, this morning, was a busy morning. We're knocking the jobs out. So they are indeed outside. So obviously we made the 2 off large ones. Is a fair bit of flash across the jobs. Obviously we are working off originals. But obviously once we blast it, clean it up. Obviously remove all the excess sand, all the flash, and then we dress it, neaten it all up, joint it up, and it'll look as good as new. Obviously we also had all the straight ones, which are all here, and then there's the curved one, the bracket. There's one there, and Steve has been dressing the rest of them, getting on with them. Bit of a nightmare obviously because there's a fair bit of dressing on them, don't get me wrong, quite flashy looking, but we've got to dress that off. At the end of the day, the customer gets a perfect casting. Might be a bit of work on our part obviously, but we've got to factor all of that in. We are working off existings. The reason why we're getting the flash is obviously the boxes and shot properly, because of the way we've made them. Sometimes it does happen when our nudges are facing up and not facing down, which are our locations, which I'll show you on this, because it's the top hat that we should have done with that melt, because this is for the pattern maker, and the pattern maker's making a job that I need. So I'm not going to get the job until he gets his job, and I need this. So this is the top hat. Just a ring, basically. It looks like a top hat, and then obviously these are the nudges. See in the cord, the light location, and then obviously they sit in that way. But if it's the other way, sometimes as you close, the sand comes off. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously sand's sitting against sand, and when it closes, it lifts the top up when it's the opposite way around. But that is what it is. So I've actually been off to go and see the lads in Stoke, who were doing the job for us. Our LG4 jobs and our brass jobs. Obviously I haven't got the material in, and I wasn't buying the material. Basically it's easy to give it to them. Still always going to get perfect and quality, well probably better quality castings. They're non-ferrous foundry. So been down, which obviously I might put pictures over this instead. Obviously we've got a full 2 sets of valve bodies and a brass plaque. Polished, perfect. That is ready to go out. Obviously basically it's the end of the month. Ideally should have got it out the other week, but they weren't done. So it is what it is. They're also cracking on. Well, we had to go and discuss another job with them. Not in my pocket anymore. A little Mazak job. It's about that big, tiny. Hopefully we can work together and we both get the job. They'll be obviously casting it, so I need to talk to them about it. If we do get the job, they'll be doing the work. I am the middleman in this. Still the job's made perfect and high quality castings, but unfortunately it's easier for me to give them the work than me do it. He does Mazak every now and then anyway, where I don't, so yeah, we'll take the job on. Transparent with the customer. Machining, we'll have to sort that if we do get the job, but he's looking at different routes. Obviously the original one was a die casting, and obviously we're not doing die castings. So the council project, I don't know if I've got photos so I can't show you. David is actually moulded it, which is now in this bed, and then obviously we've got this one. So I actually welded this on Friday, and when I welded it, I just sat it on a plate and welded it, and then when I took it off, let it cool down, etc. Iron, you got to warm it up and all that. So when I actually picked it up, I looked at it like, you know, say you put it like that way, and I went, it's not straight. And because it wasn't straight, I wasn't happy, so I got the cutter and cut it. And then something else happened, and then things move on, and yeah. But that's mainly it. Steve's obviously dressing the job, so we'll go and have a look at Steve now. Show you what some of the finished ones look like. We've got the 2 finished brackets there, obviously you can see come out lovely. One of them, and so Steve obviously cracking on with them, finishing them up, making them nice. And then that's it. Tomorrow obviously I've got to do an airport run, as you do. yeah, so ideally got to get them nice castings out. And then we're on to the rest of them other ones. We've got these ones to do as well, but we've also got to cast them. Oh, and I've just been called a banker, and I'm going to tell you why. So we had a customer come down with this little tiny thing. I think I said about it last week, I don't know. And so I threw it in the box with the jobs. So we've cast them. So he's rang Paul, my alpha in the office, and he's just come out while he's on the phone, doing all hand motions, if you know what I mean. Kicking off while he's on the phone. And, 1 minute. So as he's kicking off, yeah, let's turn these lights on. As he's kicking off on the phone, giving me loads, Paul comes out with the job. He goes, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'll get you it for Wednesday. Oh, well, we'll cast it, we'll get it for Wednesday. Luckily, did he know we've actually made the job and we've actually cast the job. And it's just sat on the top of there, look, there's the job. And we haven't made just one, we've actually made 2. And there's the other one. So, we'll get them done for tomorrow as well, for him. But, yeah, early finish because the Blues were on. So, onwards and upwards. Let's go. So, it is Tuesday. Busy day. Lots sorting out. Very frustrating day as well. Because BT doing me head in. Basically got an email through that my BT phone line and broadband was cancelled. I was going to get a bill for 800 and, what was it, just under 900 quid. And I hadn't done nothing, I hadn't changed nothing. And I was like, not like this. So we got hold of them. What it is, someone else must have contacted them and they've just linked that to me, my address, because it was like, well, work's address. Because it didn't add up. I didn't know what it was, they were unsure what it was. But it was stressful and it done me head in. And I was on the phone for an hour trying to sort the problem out. But we got the problem sorted and we're happy. And hopefully we carry on because I don't want to leave the contract's alright. Which is just one of them things and one of them things we've got to get on with. But in terms of work, actual work, I'm in the fettling shop because Steve has been busy with the Project Chippy. So we have all the nice brackets, look at them now, don't they look lovely? All done. Got one of them ones done there, which is actually not that one, the one that's next to it, the one next to it's the pattern. Put it in here to keep it safe, that's the smaller one, that's the medium one. And then we've also got the larger one, which he's been starting on. And as you can see, he's just starting slowly but surely chipping away at it. He can use the big grinder, one of them, on the inside. But obviously we've got them. Them jobs are still here. They're not lovely crusher plates. Don't know what's going on with that customer because that's half annoying. And a nice little post. So in terms of that, we're alright, plodding along. Obviously there is a fair bit of work involved in the fettling process, but it is what it is. You've got the tools to do it and you just plod along, innit? Die grinder, grinders. Yeah, imagine back in the day when you used to have to use an hand file. Or you can just do what Chinese do and just don't touch it at all. There's the phone. Hopefully fix the phone line, Paul will be able to answer it. So, in terms of what else have we got on, is we've actually got the council project, the long thing, the long, like, into piece, whatever it's called. That's actually getting done. Well, it's been moulded. That is ready to cast. And we have also got 2 cannons on, by 1.5 metres in length. So we are making them. I'm going to make one and then hopefully cast because we need the top part so we can go and get our pattern. Just one of them in it. So hopefully we're cracking on with them at the moment. And we've also got obviously all of the car parts that we've done. They are going out tomorrow morning, but obviously a late start for me tomorrow morning as I am in the chiropractor, and David's actually in the opticians as well. as Paul's just come out and said, what are you going there for? Yeah, foot massage. But it is what it is, which is great, but you got to keep trying to look after yourself, haven't you, as well as work. So luckily enough for myself, I can sort of do that things. But in terms of work and what's going on, I'll have more pipes in, stay in weight. So hopefully, in fact, that's just reminded me, I need to get that invoice sent out today. Obviously, last day of the month, invoice has gone out with that customer. They are on 45 days end of the month. So if I leave that till tomorrow, I've got that full month, then 45 days. Annoying. But it is what it is. So we're nice and busy, plodding along. Hopefully can get a cast on tomorrow, maybe. It's not a full pot, but it's what we got to do. Try and get that top hat, go and get that pattern, and then crack on. I've got some aluminium jobs to do as well, so stay tuned and see what happens. So it is Thursday now, and didn't film nothing yesterday because we were plodding along, and we're still plodding along with the cannons. And the reason why it's still going on is because the tube that we put in is normally a straight barrel. Well, we put a steel tube in because that's what we do. We blast it, we warm it up before it goes into the mould when we cast it. But this tube is completely different to the way we normally do it. We normally have, like, see that size tube there? That'll be the whole length. But the customer's obviously made it up as it goes along, which is not how we normally do it. And then it had a lump on there, and then a bar where the bar would sit in that part there, and then it had that little piece on the floor was inside there, and then that obviously sits in there, and that's the front, but also the core print, and obviously that holds the tube in. But the tube, because of the way it was done, it was the big bit that's there was sitting there, and it was too close to the edge. It was giving us like 5 milli around, and when you cast it, you'll end up with like a scab, which is no good. So we do have another tube that we also had that was sort of the same, but it's got a longer bit in the middle, and then it only had a bar, didn't have a tube on the end, and that's all right, that'll fit, because obviously the heavier end's sitting in the heavier section, so that'll be fine. We'll have to just clean it up a little bit to make it work. But obviously we've got another one to ram up and mould as of yet. Obviously the job is in there now. Off you there, the box. It's a pretty big box, isn't it? But then again, it's a pretty big cannon, so it's not huge cannon, don't get me wrong, but yeah, with the little logo on the top. So that's there ready. So what we're actually doing yesterday is Paul decided, you know, the chippy project, Paul decided he wants a copy of one of the brackets. So we made a copy of one of the brackets. So we'll have our own one, and then we've got the long one. Reason why I've done the big one is because you can always cut it and weld it to make it shorter, and you can always cut it, like, you know, to make a littler piece, but then we can always cut it and extend it to make longer pieces. Do you know what I mean? So obviously got the top there, got the bottom there. So I've got them to plod along with. Steve's still got the 2 big ones now to dress, but I'll show you the other ones in a minute. But obviously we add little bits in for shotblasting, them things there that are there ready to go out now. Them tables, they're the white NHS tables, I believe. But we've got this big thing in, and it's like a mini skip. So this is a part of a project that we're getting. This is the first part. This is like a cover, and if you see these scrape, obviously this is for shotblasting. So it is an Ulster shredder. So we've got to blast it, and we've got to clean it up, because this has been in a fire on the docks. It shreds fat, basically, you know, all oil and that. That's what we can see here. So obviously we've got to blast this. So what we are going to do, if you look there, there's little shavings. What we're going to do, instead of putting that straight in the blaster and trying to blast all that off, and it'll be like sludge. We're just going to get a little paper scraper and see if you can see the way I've done that, see how the difference between that and that is. We're going to just try and clean it off as best as we can. If we spend half an hour on this, cleaning it, it'll save us an hour in the blaster doing it. And to be honest, it just peels straight off. Yeah, if we get here. I can't even see if you can see that. See that? So obviously, you see that, doesn't take too long, and it is quite easy. I was messing around with that bit yesterday, so I've actually done most of that. I'm sure I've done that bit. But then again, oh yeah, if you see where the colour's changed. I liked it. But we'll do that, and that'll clean it up, and that'll just make 10 times easier for when we blast it. Obviously the outside, which is just paint and a bit of fat on it, it's dead simple, to be honest. I'm not going to film this because I can't get a good angle, and I like filming fire breezes because you get the good detail at the end, back in the closet. Yeah. So we're plodding. Steve has obviously done a load of them, so we've got a couple of them ones done. We've got these ones, which we plodded along with. There's all them there. All the corners are done. Obviously, when we go to get them out and sort them all out, and obviously I want to take photos for like Instagram and that. Yeah, I'll get them out, but we'll take the photos and we'll overlay it or whatever. See what works. But yeah, plodding along. Oh yeah, with the Canon, we've got to make wheels. So I have took photos and I'm just going to overlay it, but I'll just show you. So put it in the box, basically, ram it up, flip it over, put the other one in the other box. Then we take it out, and then we end up with, obviously, the mould. Got to put a little runner system in here, like a 2-forker, in, run it, put a riser on somewhere on here. Might put it in the centre though. Obviously, if I keep it in the same line for when I go to put weights on it, it's easier, so I can go 1, 2, 3, runner, riser. I think that's the best option. It's not just about putting the runner in and then a riser in. You've got to calculate, because obviously you've got to get weights on the job for pressure, etc. So if I put like a runner bang in the middle, you can put weights around the outside, but obviously I'm not running it on, I'm running it in. So you've got to think about it. Yeah. So we also had the fellas out from induction firm, which is obviously the furnace. I was laughing because obviously ours is small, do you know what I mean? But to the size of some of them are massive. Like you can walk inside them. And they come out, and well, I've been here. I've never known one to come out. Do you know what I mean? So give us a price off the top of your head. Which is a lot of money for us. Ideally, I would love like on the back wall instead of the side wall. I'd like them there, boom, and I'd like 2 big ones, and then obviously a little non-ferrous one, or like 2 like 300 kilo ones, so then you can cast 600 kilo on jobs at the same time running 2 furnaces. But you can also just do 300 if you want 300, or go 250 and then get to 500. But then you can also do all the little tricks and bobs as well. And we also had the fella out from one of our other suppliers out, and we were actually, obviously, so we were talking about the mould coat, and he's given us this like little cup don't know where it is now, to make sure, like, because sometimes when it's too thin, the mould coat, it looks terrible, and when it's too thick, it goes ripply, and then you get the ripple effect on the casting. So he gives us this little cup thing that you stick in it and put your finger on it and you time it, and depending on what speed it is, but he didn't know the speed as of yet. That's where it should be at. Very easily done. That is the best mould coat for probably what we're doing. There is another one above that, but that's mainly for steel and that, so obviously we're not doing that. So that is ideal for what we want, which is good. And then obviously when we were talking about the little cup, he said he had one found and he wasn't mixing it properly, and he said it was like piss on the job, and then he's getting things. But there's so many different things that have happened over the years, like innovation things. Obviously, a lot of people use sleeves where we don't. But he was saying, because I was saying about like these, which is our filters, which is obviously the flow of the metal, but also helps keep it clean. A little tiny thing like that. Put one on them on every box, because obviously you're going to get better casting, aren't you? I know it does the flow, but it also helps it be keeping it clean. Depending on what you're doing, don't get me wrong. But he said some people don't use them, and they didn't know about them, but we use them. We use them a lot, depending on obviously the job. Obviously, if you've got more jobs in a box, it spreads it out, but they're only 40 pence roughly per box. Well, we've got them, and then we've also got these ones, which are a lot tighter for different jobs, and then we've got bigger ones for bigger jobs. I think there's a big one over here. This one's goosed, but size difference. We've also got loads of like ceramic ones, but we never use them, we don't like them. So onwards and upwards, and then we'll see what happens today. See what this chippy thing looks like once it's blasted. Let's go. So it is Friday, last day of the week. Happy days. And today we're going to cast. Furnace is loaded up, ready. Just needs to be turned on, because it is Friday morning. So let's have a look and see what we're casting. So we got the cannon and we got the other cannon, both open. Custom's been and we've changed it. So if you look at this one, there's the tube inside it. Quite narrow there, isn't it, by the trunnion? But it's all ready. And then we have this one. Obviously the lids are next door. We leave these open just right before we cast, because obviously we've got to warm the tubes up. So the customer came yesterday and has put an extension there, and also changed the back end of it as well. But it still is very tight in places. A little bit too tight, to be honest. Yeah, because obviously with it putting steel in, you can't get too hot, do you know what I mean? To make it run fast or whatever. So you got to be careful, haven't you? Basically, you don't want it to pop. But as well as that, we've got the council thing, whatever it's called, the long thing. It's like a bit of a window or something. We've got the wheels. There's 2 wheels there and there's 2 behind me. We've got the top hat, and we've got the other council jobs that we had to weld together. So there's 2 and 2, because then put them together they make 4. As I said, we've got more wheels there, one there, and then we've got this one, which hasn't got weights on. It's got the foot scraper, which is that one. Then we've got, let me just work this out. I don't know, I think that's the bracket and that's the long one. So we've got them to do. All three separates again. So we'll do that. Oh, and then there's 2 up the toffee benches down there. Yeah, that we just make them. But jobs we've got on now is I can't even show you this. So I'll have to take a photo after it's done. But this thing is called a rocket cover. So the fella's made this himself. Bit of steel tube, alley tube. It's got some mad letters on the back that we don't know if we're actually going to get, because they've got undercuts. So the sand, obviously sand's fine, so the sand gets in it, and then when you take the job out, it rips out. It looks terrible. Because we're actually on aluminium next. Then we've got aluminium hand wheels, 8 inches with square centre bosses. We actually made these patterns. These are our patterns, believe it or not. The customer said he would have got a pattern, but my fella decided, oh no, we've got these, we'll just use these. No? Yeah, it's getting cast today. So we got them to go with that rocket cover.
Obviously, I'm going to get part 2 today, aren't I, off the pair of them? It's fucking funny.
So we got that, we got them. Shotblasting wise, the mini skip, should we call it, the big dirty, oily thing. That is all done, all blasted. I know it looks a bit funky looking, but considering what it did look like yesterday, it is such a massive improvement. And let me tell you, if you could smell this, it stinks. Simple as that. Smells like a good fart on a good day. But as well as theirs, same customer, is them things. They're the London Underground impellers, I believe. That's what it said. God knows if it's true. So before we cast, don't forget, drop us a like. And if you don't already, subscribe. It only helps me. As soon as we get bigger and better, these will get better, do you know what I mean? I might go and find some like POV camera. I've been looking, so we can POV the job and make our one that I can connect the mic to, so I can talk through at the same time, because obviously in here it's quite noisy. So obviously at the moment it's alright, but if I don't have a microphone on, you can't hear nothing. You know, if I just plugged it in. That's what I was going to do, is just do the GoPro, but I don't know how to connect the mic to the GoPro yet. But before we cast, don't forget. Yeah, and that's it. So let's cast. No. Do you want that one lighting? Yep. Yep. It's on a trolley though, isn't it? Yep.